As disasters went for Jacob, this one started gently enough. There was some initial madness before the play started. Last-minute running and thumping around on stage, Munchkins squealing and tearing back and forth, Mrs. Hillsack calling for order. None of this bothered Jacob. He had feathers in his stomach fluttering through the butterflies and the garlic pizza yogurt, but it wasn't anything to do with what was happening on top of the stage. At last, he was facing the fog machine head-on. It was time to use it, to get it ready to use, and he wasn't sure if he knew how to work it correctly. First, he had to pour in the solution, which smelled like a thick, sweet mouthwash. Then he read the instructions. Before emitting fog, the machine had to be pumped up with the handle on the top until the right amount of pressure was registered on a dial. He worked the pump handle, but the dial didn't move. He pumped more, and still more, without movement. He began to sweat in the small place beneath the stage, though it wasn't hot. Above, he heard sudden silence as the play started. He pumped harder. Still nothing showed on the dial. Dorothy and Toto had their difficulty with the crotchety old lady on the bike, also played by Maria. She even made being ugly beautiful, Jacob thought, listening to her above him, pumping frantically at the handle. Suddenly, the needle on the pressure dial slammed to the right. He stopped pumping. I wonder, he thought, what happens when there's that much pressure? He looked for a way to let the pressure off without turning the fog machine on, but there wasn't a valve. The dial didn't say how much pressure there was, only that it should be in the green area. It was well past the green and halfway around again. Well, he thought, maybe that just means more fog. So that was all right. The more fog that shot up out of the trapdoor when he opened it, the better. The easier it would be for Maria to hide and lower herself. That was the logic he used, but there was a nudge of worry in his brain. He chose to ignore it. Up on top, the cyclone hit, and Dorothy awakened in the land of Oz and was meeting the Tin Woodsman and the Cowardly Lion and the Scarecrow. She sang Over the Rainbow, then met the ugly witch. Maria. Oh, my ugly witch, he thought. Everything I ever wanted in a woman up on the stage above me, and I'm stuck with a fog machine that's going to explode. So stupid. I'm so stupid. None of this would be happening if I weren't so stupid. Dorothy was captured in the castle. The ugly witch wanted the ruby slippers. Munchkin stomped around. Dorothy screamed. The Scarecrow and Lion and Woodsman saved her. Soon, Dorothy would confront the Wicked Witch again. It was coming now. The ugly witch had to go. It was time for the fog. Timing was everything. In one smooth motion, he was supposed to turn on the fog machine and open the trap door, and he was ready. Too ready. His foot bumped against the leg of the fog machine, and he tripped. As he started to fall forward, his hand brushed the on-off switch on the fog machine and turned it on. A full half a minute too soon. There was a great barfing woof as the machine triggered. With a smell like an exploding mouthwash factory, the throat of the fog machine began to blow out clouds, jets, rolling mountains of fog. It was thick, noxious, billowing. Jacob couldn't see, couldn't think. In 2 seconds, the whole underside of the stage was filled, packed, and still the machine roared, fog pouring out. He had to get away. He staggered, started to fall, and grabbed overhead. His hand caught the bolt holding the trap door, and it slid open. The trap door dropped. Fog blew up through the hole, exploding like a silent bomb, filled the stage. It was too much fog for the stage, too much for the theater, too much for the world, and panic took the Munchkins who were backstage, and they began to run and scream. In seconds, the fog and stampeding Munchkins had reached the audience, and the panic infected them as well. "It's smoke!" someone yelled. "Fire!" All order, sense, intelligence left the audience. Like a mad herd of water buffalo, they wheeled, bellowed, screamed, and went for the exits, over the seats, over each other, fighting to get through the rolling clouds of fog still belching out of the hole in the stage and filling the auditorium. But worse, far worse, Maria had been standing near the trap door. And a galloping Munchkin bumped the front of her legs, pushing her backward. She tipped and dropped like a stone down into the hole, into the fog.